Hey guys, it's the Lerms coming at you with a guide on how to play D.Va on Overwatch. D.Va is a very versatile character. She's usually used as a tank, but can also be used as a flanker and different roles on Overwatch. A lot of people ask, how to best use D.Va. What do you want to actually use her for? How to maximize some of her moves, that sort of thing. So I thought I would create a guide on how I play as D.Va and how I've gotten to the point where I am so far. So just to give you a little context on me and what my stats on D.Va are, I wanted to give you these stats to let you know, and so that you can make a determination if you want to actually listen to this video and listen to my advice, because a lot of people are looking for pro level strategies, and they want to be the best, right? So I'm not claiming to be the best D.Va ever. I'm definitely not pro level, but I do have platinum status on season 2 of competitive mode, and I also have a 3.89 kill death ratio with D.Va, which I think is pretty decent. I'm always looking for improvements, but it's been steadily rising as I get more and more time played with D.Va. So that being said, I have 5 different points that I wanted to go through with D.Va to give you a sense of how I play as D.Va and how you can possibly improve with your D.Va play. So I'll list the 5 right now. The first is to know your role. The second is practice using your shield matrix. The third is how to use obstacles to your advantage. The fourth is pursuing but not over pursuing. And the fifth is learning how to use your ultimate offensively and defensively. I think with these 5 starting points, you can take them and use them in your D.Va gameplay, and possibly improve your gameplay and maybe even become better than I am, because I think there are certain subtleties that you need to have with D.Va that allow you to be very versatile and very useful for your team. So that being said, the first point that I mentioned was knowing your role. So D.Va is, she's a tank, right? She has 500 HP in her mech, and then when she pops out of her mech, she has an additional 150 HP with a pistol that is more powerful, but she's very weak and squishy when she's out of her mech. So she is a tank. She can absorb the damage with her damage matrix, and a lot of people will just use her on the front line or to push the payload to get her going. But you also can use her as a flank, and depending on your skill level with D.Va and what you've tried, there are certain levels where you can go around and be kind of unnoticed in order to flank the opponent and draw them back to the point, so that your team can push up and get to the point. So for example, in this video gameplay right now, I don't think I do a flank here, but on Volskaya Industries, you can go from the left side, around the building to the other side, and flank the enemy team and get to the point kind of unnoticed. So I've done that for several games, and you pull everyone back to that point, allowing your team to push up more and put more pressure on the team. But that being said, you need to be able to discuss that role with your team. Don't make decisions just on what you want to do. You have to tell your team, oh, I'm going to go and flank them, or oh, I'm going to go in the front and soak up some of that damage and let you guys go through. Communication is key. You need to know your role but you also need to communicate that role with your team. My second point for playing D.Va is using the shield matrix. The shield matrix is an awesome tool. It allows about 4 seconds of blocking almost any damage that's coming into you. Any projectiles, even energy projectiles like from Symmetra, you can block those. You can block ultimates as well. So you need to practice using that shield matrix and using it effectively. You have to keep in mind that it only has 4 seconds, but it recharges and it takes about 10 seconds to recharge fully back up. But you can toggle it on and off. So you can be at a choke point and take some of the damage, toggle it on, and then have your team members shoot behind you because you're blocking all the incoming projectiles. And then you can toggle it back off, let it recharge, and rinse and repeat. That's a good way to use the shield matrix. You can also block ultimates with your shield matrix. So I don't know the number of times I've blocked a Reaper Death Blossom. Usually if I have a team member call out that there's a Reaper behind me or coming in for an ult, I'm ready to face the Reaper, toggle on the shield matrix, and it blocks all of the Death Blossom as long as you are positioned correctly. And during that, your team members can shoot at Reaper and he's dead. So you can block a lot of different ultimates with D.Va's shield matrix. So there are some exceptions like Junkrat's Riptire, which you can't do. But definitely practice using your shield matrix and get good with it, because you can use it both offensively and defensively. Like offensively, you can take out a Bastion, block a Bastion, and then have your teammates shoot behind you, or you can even attempt to take it out yourself, even though it's about a 50-50 chance if you go against a Bastion yourself. It's sometimes very difficult to still get him down. The third point that I have to playing D.Va is to use obstacles to your advantage. This applies to using the payload. It's probably one of the reasons why I survive and have such high kill death ratio, and it's because I stick next to the payload when I'm playing a role of just being a tank and moving and being on the point. And if you set yourself up right behind the payload, you can continually strafe left or strafe right. You can shoot a bit. You can block some of that damage. You can go back behind the car, and then you can rinse and repeat. And you keep doing this over and over. You can target certain enemy characters that you want to get down. Maybe Zenyatta has a Discord orb on somebody. You focus on that person, you shoot, you block for your team, and then you move behind the car, let your shield recharge for a little bit longer, then you rinse and repeat and do it again. And if you continually do this, your chances that the team can push are greatly increased, because you're continually just going back and forth. You don't have to go like left and right, then left and right. You can go left and then go to the payload and then go back to the left. You can mix it up, and it frustrates the enemy team. I mean, I've gone against D.Vas that have done that too, and it's just very difficult to get them down, because the payload actually heals you as well. It gives a little bit of healing each second. Just kind of, it's like Lucio's passive healing that he does for the team. So if you're behind the payload and you get the healing from the payload and you have a healer that is taking care of you, you are really hard to get down. So use obstacles to your advantage in the game to increase your survivability. My fourth point for playing D.Va is to pursue enemies, but don't over pursue. So it's very critical to take out opponents in this game. It's easier to obviously go 6 on 5 instead of 6 on 6. So there's going to be opportunities where an enemy team member is almost dead, like so close to death, maybe 1 or 2 bars of health left, and you have a choice of whether you want to boost and get that opponent, or you want to stay back and, you know, just stay by the payload or stay with your team. And you're going to have to master that art just with the number of hours of gameplay that you do, right? You need the experience, because a lot of times you do need to pursue and take down that one person, like especially if it's a Mercy. You need to take that Mercy down before she can res the whole team. But if you over pursue and you put yourself in a situation where you will get wrecked after you take out that one person and you're gone, you know, it's not helpful for the team, because they're going to lose a tank. And you know, losing D.Va is very hard to deal with, and your team can get destroyed if that happens. So my advice is, from experience, learn how to pursue enemies, but don't over pursue and put yourself in a situation where you're going to get destroyed and put your team at a disadvantage. And then my last point for playing D.Va is learning how to use her ultimate ability offensively and defensively. So, you know, when you take a look at her ability, it's a self-destruct of her mech, right? So she is able to throw her mech or just lay down her mech, and it has a short wait time. I think it's about 3 seconds, and then it will explode and destroy everything in a radius of about 100 meters. This obviously is something great to use offensively. You can throw that mech into an area and just destroy opponents that are there. However, you can also use that ability defensively and throw a mech into an area to clear that area. So if you are trying to hold a point and you only have, you know, 2 or 3 seconds and the team is rushing, what you want to do is you want to throw that mech so that the team members have to scatter and to avoid that that self-destruct, and because of that they might lose the game because they're not on the point. So, you know, you have to figure out situations where, you know, that mech will just scare your opponents and make them step back for a little bit. I mean, you can even use that to redirect them to, you know, some of your other team members. You know, if you throw it and most of them are kind of like on the right side of your self-destruct, they will move to more to their right, and if you have a team member over there ready to kill them, you know, that could be useful too. So you can kind of force your will on your opponents by the way you throw the mech. So don't always think of it offensively, also think of it defensively, and that will allow your team members to take advantage of people hiding, because a lot of times when people hide from D.Va's self-destruct, they literally just do that. They get behind a pole, they get behind an obstacle, and they just stand there. They don't do anything active, they don't shoot at anyone else. Obviously, the higher up you go, and the more skill level people have, the more that's not going to be true. But at least, you know, as you're leveling up and you're getting more skill, you can use that to your advantage, and hopefully your team can take advantage of that as well. So I think with these 5 points, these are really good things to keep in mind when you're playing D.Va. She is a very versatile character, and she's really fun to play. I have a big discrepancy in the amount of time that I play D.Va versus other characters on competitive mode. That's not to say I can't play other characters, because I'm pretty good with Soldier as well, and with a few other characters. You know, I've made sure to be able to play an offensive character, a defensive character, a healer, that sort of thing, because that's definitely needed in this game when you play different teams. So I think with these 5 points, you can really take them back, see if you can apply them to your own D.Va gameplay, and see if they help you out. I'd be interested to know what you think about these tips. You can tell me if they are good tips, if they're bad tips, if I'm just a really crappy player, and that an almost 4 kill death ratio is bad. I don't know. But I think I've done a pretty good job so far with D.Va, and I hope that these tips really help you out. And I'm just interested to know what people think. And please like, share, or subscribe to our page if you like any of our content, or if you like this guide. I just wanted to make some of these guides for others because I like helping people out, and I like seeing people improve. So I hope that's the case for this D.Va gameplay video. So with that, I will talk to you guys later. I will see you guys in the next video, so I hope you have a fantastic day. And this is the Lerms for One NightStand Gaming, giving you a guide to playing D.Va on Overwatch. I'll see you guys later. Thanks.